Welcome to the Sports Machine with Brian and Dean. Wednesday, January 6th. Long break. We are back. Full action. Dean, how was your holidays?
My holidays was fantastic, man. I can't complain. I'm excited to live to see another year. As we know, life is short now. A lot of people get a chance to see a new year or even a new day. So I'm truly blessed and truly grateful and truly thankful to be able to live to see another year, let alone another day, with my best friend, my brother from another mother, right sitting across from me. And most importantly, glad to be talking sports with you. To the listeners, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all for listening and tuning in each and every day.
End of season sports, always good talk.
Most definitely.
Bringing the new year with some great sports action. NFL coaching situation, end of the season awards for the NFL. Al Jazeera allegation against certain players with PEDs, and a bowl recap. Only one game left. We will get into that later on in the week. Really though, of course, somebody gotta get rid of them. Let's kick it off with the NFL talk. The end of season. Let's do it. End of NFL season topic. The playoffs have been set up. There's one team not in the playoffs I kind of feel bad for. I feel bad for the New York Jets. Boy, Brandon Marshall, Ryan Fitzpatrick kind of let me down a little bit.
3 straight drives, 3 straight interceptions. Honestly, if you was going to go into the playoffs and you was going to turn the ball over like that, I'm pretty sure New York Jets fans would much rather them stay at home.
You know who get the Santa Claus
Oh man,
gift basket of the week? Come on, Ryan.
I guess what surprised me the most is the fact that a New York Jets team that had a lot to play for, you was playing for, you win and you're in. It's plain and simple. You have another week of football, and the fact they came out there with just no energy. That's what I saw from that game, was a team that didn't have any energy. A team that knew that their season was over came out with more energy than a team that knew for a fact if they won the game that they was going to be in. It's inexcusable, man. Do you agree?
Oh, I agree. I think Pittsburgh's more of a dangerous team.
Right.
In the playoffs anyway.
Right.
On the NFC side, the NFC is kind of stacked.
Right.
In my opinion, besides the Redskins.
You know what's
and
surprising?
The Redskins have played really well, so, and they especially at home, in which they will host the Green Bay Packers. I'm pretty sure we're gonna pick the game later on in the week, but that's gonna be an interesting pick.
Oh yeah, most
interesting game.
You know what I found funny about the playoff matchups, the wild card matchups this week is usually you get a NFC and AFC games, like each conference they have a game each day, but this weekend they have all AFC and all NFC. All AFC being Saturday and then Sunday being all NFC.
On the NFC side, is there any debate that the Seattle Seahawks are the most dangerous team
without question.
In the playoffs?
Without question. I mean, I've gone on record saying that this is one team I wouldn't want to see the first week of the playoffs. And unfortunately, Minnesota won in pretty good fashion Sunday to host the game, but in my opinion, I feel like they drew the short end of the stick. Like,
would you rather play the Redskins in Washington or play Seattle?
I take my chances with going into Washington, to be honest with you.
Me too.
Mainly because you look at Seattle, been to 2 straight Super Bowls, won one, lost one, and on the verge of making it happen again. So they clearly know how to win in big game situations.
Any Super Bowl picks?
Not right now.
No, just
to hypothetically throw it out there. I don't care. I know that they lost the game, and I didn't want them to lose the game. But I still, even with Seattle playing as well as they they're playing, knowing that the Super Bowl has to go through Carolina, I still think the Panthers will win the Super Bowl this year.
It's possible, definitely possible.
Especially when you start looking at what's going on the AFC side, right? I think people are starting to really. I think people have slept on the Kansas City Chiefs entirely too long.
That's also another interesting game when they play Houston.
Right. And I say that because this team hasn't lost in forever. And when you watch the game that the Patriots played against the Dolphins, Tom Brady's starting to look like he's kind of broke up a bit. Like they basically just handed the ball off the rest of the game to prevent him from getting hurt.
They had to. I mean.
Right. And Gary Kubiak in Denver, even though the as of right now, the road to the Super Bowl on the AFC side has to go through Mile High City. You have to sit back and think. Gary Kubiak still hasn't even picked a quarterback.
Doesn't need to.
Okay.
They got a D.
Yeah, they do. They have a defense, but who's going to be starting that first game in the division round?
I think Peyton Manning's probably going to start.
Yeah, I believe so too. But, once again, we may be surprised.
If he starts Brock Osweiler, I mean.
Maybe it came from higher up. Let's not forget, Josh McDaniels got fired because he actually won a playoff game with a quarterback that everybody said no one could win with.
Not that no one could win with him, just the fact that he's a terrible quarterback.
Yeah, he got a win over a heavily favored Super Bowl team in Pittsburgh that year.
Pittsburgh was overrated.
Year?
That's what I learned. If you get beat by Tim Tebow, he's overrated.
Oh.
That's just
right,
I'm not gonna get into Tim Tebow conversation. We get into that. This will go all day. Because people talk about, did you see the pass against Pittsburgh? He threw one pass.
That's all he needed. That's all he needed to win.
I'm not talking about all he needed to win. I'm talking about his resume as a quarterback in the NFL is relying all on one pass.
Oh yeah, but
that's his resume is one pass.
The fact that Josh McDaniels got them to the playoffs to begin with Tim Tebow.
I don't have a problem with Josh McDaniels. The fact that he doesn't have a head coach job is a surprise to me.
I'll take him right now over Clapping Garrett any day of the week. That's his new nickname.
We're going to get into the NFL coach situation. We're going to get into it.
Clapping Garrett.
All right, here comes Mr. Round of Applause. Question at the end of the season. Who was the most disappointing team in the NFL this year?
I said my Dallas Cowboys. Straight up. To
me, it was between them and the Colts.
Right. I guess it's 1A, 1B.
Because I thought the Cowboys had a chance to win the NFC East. Mm-hmm. I thought the Colts had a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Right. To be honest with you, I think the Colts was a lot of teams' Super Bowl pick. I mean, they've only done nothing but progress further each year in the playoffs. Each year since they've had Andrew Luck, they made it to the playoffs, lost in the wild card. The very next season, what they do, go to the divisional round, lose. Then they went to the AFC Championship game, lose. So naturally, it's only to think, if you're going to continue to progress like that, natural is the Super Bowl. Now, if they won it or not, that's a whole nother story.
A lot of people had them Super Bowl and
Andrew
Luck having the MVP.
Yeah.
And that changed dramatically.
Yeah, that was
Josh
derailed bad.
Say Josh Freeman played on Sunday. I know that.
Man. I didn't even watch that game. I didn't even realize Josh Freeman played.
He did.
Wow.
I'll have to check now.
I'm surprised that I thought he was in CFL, bro. I'm not kidding you. I thought Josh Freeman, former Kansas State quarterback, former Tampa Bay quarterback.
Yeah.
I thought he was in CFL, fam. Wow.
15 for 28, 149 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He won the game.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that guy? He actually had the talent, but
his team was not very good.
Yeah.
Biggest surprise in the NFL this year? Is it Carolina?
Most definitely.
All right.
Because everybody had Carolina at 8-8.
It was an easy pick.
And that was And that was really pushing it to say that they was going to be 8-8. Some people was like they're 5-11 team.
I think Arizona was kind of a surprise too. Like we knew they were going to probably make the playoffs, but to be 13-3 is kind of ridiculous. The Vikings, another
most definitely
surprise in my opinion.
I'm willing to throw the Chiefs in there. If you told me that this team would
without Jamal Charles,
yeah, exactly, there it is right there. Without Jamal Charles, you told me that this team would have went on the win streak that it went on. I'd look you in your face and I'd probably put some money on that and lost. Bad,
especially with how they started the season.
Exactly.
Coming up, staying in the NFL coaching situation right next on the Sports Machine. Sports Machine, this is Brian Franklin with today's Sports Machine Daily Sports Ticker. Former USC head coach Steve Sarkisian is reportedly interested in returning to the NFL as either a quarterback's coach or offensive coordinator. Golden State Warriors star Stephen Curry aggravated his left shin contusion again on Tuesday, but he said he's not worried about the injury long term and that he just needs to protect it while he's on the floor. In last night's NBA games, the Warriors did come away with the win against the Lakers 109-88. The Bulls got a victory over the Bucks 117-106. The Hawks lost to the Knicks 107-101. And in a double overtime thriller, the Mavericks got the hard-fought win against the Kings 117-116. In college basketball, there was a big upset in which Kentucky lost to LSU. LSU star freshman Ben Simmons, projected as the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, finished with 14 points and 10 rebounds. This is the Sports Machine with Brian and Dean. Just went over the end of season in NFL, continuing the end of season in NFL talk. Going into the coaching situation, I think the biggest thing that happened in the coaching was Tom Coughlin resigning.
Right. Which
good for you, Tom Coughlin.
Right.
You should be tired of being on the hot seat when you win the Super Bowls.
My whole deal with that is I think he actually knew what was going to happen and he decided I'm gonna leave on my own terms, because like he resigned like I guess when he went into the meeting with the Maras, he went in and like before anything got started, he just told him he was resigning. I think he had a feeling it was coming. In an interview that he in his presser that he had the other day, we talked to Eli Manning. That's the only coach he's ever had, and you know, Eli Manning is not known for being a over emotional guy or emotional period. He always seemed to have the same look on his face. You can see in his face, man, he was tore up about it. You know, a lot of former players and current players, you know, raved about Coughlin, how he's taught them, just not just football values but life values. You know, Justin Tuck told him, hey, he even taught him how to be a better father. Tom Coughlin is what I consider to be like a leader of men. You know, I consider like Tony Dungy to be someone like this. Someone who could just not be your coach, but let's be for real. A lot of us who didn't grow up with that father figure, some of these guys are like father figures to him and teach him valuable life lessons and things like that. And I commend him for it. Once again, I'm not a Giants fan. Those of you who know I'm a hardcore Cowboys fan. And I mean, like you said before, I think he deserved better. Because every year was like he was on the hot seat. And then the team would seem to rally around it. I'm not sure if that was used as upper management team as a way to get the team to play better. But, let's not forget that he hasn't made the playoffs in like almost 6 seasons. It's been a while since the Giants has made the playoffs. Yeah. And made some noise in the playoffs. So, there's a lot of coaches out there that hasn't even gotten that, hasn't gotten the tenure, that hasn't gotten even half of what he's gotten. I mean, ask former Cleveland Browns head coach over there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Tom Sula.
Right.
And 49ers got fired first year. I mean, he should have, though. The moment you start putting Blaine Gabbert, you have problems as a team. Nothing against Blaine Gabbert.
I think my only problem with that situation was the way they sold it. They sold the spin that they put on hiring Jim Tomsula moving him up to be the head coach of the team was he's a players coach guy and he can get the job done and get these guys to play. And when you really hear from the players that they said that he's not necessarily like an X's and O's type of coach, but he did rally around those guys. He did the little things that most of those players like from a standpoint of, hey, checking on family, making sure those guys are okay. Actually, just being, he's more of a coach, but he just wasn't, like I said before, an X's and O's coach. And they let him go. You know what's curious about, though, about that whole situation? Your boy in Michigan posted a tweet. And, hey, don't be fooled. You reap what you sow. I
don't think he might have just been feeling a certain type of way that day out. I don't think that has anything related to do with.
Okay.
I don't know what you're
I need a picture. I need a picture of the face he just made. That's that. All you need to do is throw your two fingers up and just say, "I am not a crook." Just straight, just Richard Nixon it. Just.
I don't know what you're referring to.
It's okay. You cannot confirm or deny. I understand.
As you mentioned, the Cleveland Browns also fired their coach,
Right.
Mike Pettin, also the general manager, Ray Farmer, because no one wants to stay in Cleveland for too long.
No,
They don't give them the ability to.
That's a job I would duck and dodge like the plague. Like, not just any plague, like
At
the
least want a
bubonic
job.
plague.
So the 49ers, the Giants, and now the Browns is available. Mm-hmm. So that's the least.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. That's at least like it. Because for one,
I don't know if I'd want to go to San Francisco either. I mean, dude was winning over there.
They
didn't like him.
It became just an ego party. That's the problem with that. But in a way, the 49ers situation is a much better situation because they do have a GM there who can help put some players together. Let's not forget, before Harbaugh got there, he was doing a lot of the drafting of a lot of those players that came in. Harbaugh done a great job of coaching them up, getting those guys ready to play. But a lot of those players that was drafted when Mike Singletary was coaching there was drafted by Trent Baalke. So when I say that,
I wouldn't want to go to Cleveland. I think Cleveland's the worst one too. I was just trying to throw something that might be close.
Right, I got you. Only thing that they could sell right now to anybody is just their history.
What history?
Oh, the fact that
losing?
Yeah. Well, now with St. Louis anyway. I mean, not San Francisco. It's like, hey,
yeah.
Right. I mean,
I'm still saying that's why the Browns are the worst. It's like they don't even
have a history, right?
Your history is choking.
Your history is firing coaches after a year or two. That is your shelf life, 2 years.
You saw that the Jaguars defense coordinator got fired after allowing 448 points.
Dude, I'm surprised they even let him make it to the end of the season.
I mean,
and I say that due to the
Jaguars actually had a better season than expected.
They did, but at the same time, let's not forget, in their putrid division, they were still in the mix all the way until the second week in December. They were still in the mix. Man, we had a debate about that. I had actually picked them to win it and make the playoffs for the first very time.
You didn't know that fact. You didn't know that fact about their defense.
No, I didn't. Had I known, I should have done my homework on that and saw how many points they had allowed. Because I'm surprised. Like, I'm very surprised because you remember who was it? Rex Ryan got fired. Just because his defense was just getting beat deep, whatever. They yeah. Who I said, Rex?
Yeah.
I apologize. Rob Ryan got fired for just having a crap defense. The fact this guy made it all the way through the season after allowing 470, 480 points out. It was high. It was real high. The fact that he made it throughout the rest of the season, allowing that many points, I'm just really surprised. I'm not a fan of just firing guys, but that's one of the times it's like, dude, we have to score. We have to score with every game we know we're in a shootout. If we don't score and this team scores again, we're done. We're done.
I don't know if it's like that.
If a team goes up at least 14 points on us, we're done. He allowed 448 points. I'm sorry. Goodness gracious. In football?
Yeah, it's not basketball.
Okay.
The Colts did re-sign Pagano. A little surprised, but apparently the Colts expressed interest in the boy Sean Payton.
Right. I mean,
The
anybody
same
who's
day.
not.
The same day they were in negotiations with Chuck Pagano.
Right. From my understanding, like, I guess it broke down. Like, negotiations between the teams had broke down or something like that. Well, according to ESPN rumor, they had been in discussions and things like that. And for whatever reason, the talks broke down and he decided to go ahead and bring back Chuck Pagano, which I think was the better move. But the worst move he did was bringing back the same GM that they was having problems with to begin with. It was like, you should have let one of them go, honestly. And to me, he made the right choice in keeping Pagano. But that GM over there, I've heard and read that he has that Chip Kelly mentality where it's like, I know what I'm doing. I'm the bum. Y'all listen to me. I got it. Just leave me alone. And, well, you had the oldest team in the league. 16 players above 30. 30 or above on your team. And you still didn't address the offensive line, which is the main reason why your star quarterback, who was projected to be the MVP and much more, missed the rest of the season with like a lacerated spleen or lacerated kidney. Something bad. It was a horrible injury.
It's all right.
Look at me, sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
That's him.
That's it.
Yeah, that's him.
I mean, when Matt Hasselbeck playing games, you got problems. Last thing on the coaches. Let's talk about Sean Payton real quick. I heard what you was telling me before the show is that they just want a second-round pick for him.
Right.
If that's all they want is a second-round pick, then
If I'm the Cowboys, I'm packaging it up. I'll fire Jason Garrett at home. I wouldn't even let him come to work. You got fired on your day off? Yep, straight Craig status. I told you before the show, I would drive to Jason Garrett's house. Say, hey, man, I need to sit down with you. I'm going in his house. I'm going to fire him in his living room. Not out of disrespect, but it's like, yo, we just made it. Before everybody else report this, I felt like you should hear it from me. We got Sean Payton. He's not an offensive coordinator. He's not an assistant coach. Think about it. We don't need think about it. We don't need him on defense. Y'all hit him with the think about it. I'm looking right in his eyes like I'm doing you right now. Looking right in his eyes like, yo, this is not a joke. Don't come to work tomorrow. I will FedEx you your stuff. Same day ship. Whatever it is I got paid. Just don't come. Stay gone. Here's your $20 million check. Thanks. But no thanks.
You better be. You heard what I said before the show. I text him from the driveway. Tell him, hey, come outside real quick.
That sound like you making a move. Like, say, I need you. That's something you do to somebody who owe you money. You tell them I'm outside. Oh, dang.
I'm gonna have his stuff in the trunk. I'm not gonna roll down the window. Just gonna have a sign on the window.
You're fine.
Pop the trunk.
Oh man.
There'll be a whole bunch of Sean Payton pictures back there too. Like, so just so you know who you got replaced by.
Exactly, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like I would, but
It's disrespectful.
I thought it was kind of cheap. Like, I thought it was kind of cheap until I had looked up to see how much the Tampa Bay gave up to get John Gruden to come there. They gave up 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and $8 million to get John Gruden in a trade to come to Tampa Bay. Now that's expensive. And at that time, John Gruden didn't win a Super Bowl. So basically, the Saints ought to be asked for like a firstborn child from some people, man. This dude won the Super Bowl.
I bet from the Cowboys they want more than a second round pick.
They probably would.
Just because it's Cowboys.
We want your first round. Your top 3.
Top.
I get it. I would. For Sean Payton.
If you would have to give me y'all's first round pick too. Or something like I'll trade back. I'm not just gonna give up.
Yeah, he said
top 3
You ain't gonna
pick.
give him a top 3, top 4 pick for Sean Payton? Just that one pick. I give him that. I can't lie.
They'd have to package something.
I'll take that.
Dude, only if they take Jason Garrett.
So you, okay.
They gotta take Jason
so you
Garrett.
don't have to fire him? You slick son of a gun. That's a business move. Nice one. I'll do it. Yeah, you're right. You have to, like, you don't give him a choice. You take our top 4 pick, you take our head coach too. And you pay him. Straight up. Let them do your dirty work. I ain't know. I don't think about that one. I'm going to tweet that out there. Cowboys Nation. Check you out.
Moving on from the coach situation, stay in the NFL. Let's give our end of the season awards. MVP first up.
I don't think it's even a question anymore. Cam Newton.
I think if he would have been undefeated, wouldn't even be close, but I'm still giving it to Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Although I think Carson Palmer deserves consideration.
Most definitely. I mean, Carson Palmer has a terrific story when you stop and think about it. Because one thing we do love here in America is like that comeback story. A guy who goes through so much adversity and people was probably telling him to quit and hang it up, but he continued to persevere. And he was looking like he was going to have a great season last year. Has the same knee injury. Comes right back this year and set the division on fire. Set the whole NFC East whole NFC on fire. So, I mean,
Carson Palmer had the 3rd best quarterback rating all year.
exactly. And despite, I know this is an up-to-date league, prior to the game against Seattle this week, you know, people were starting to begin to pick them over Carolina for the Super Bowl, mainly because, you know, Carolina had lost that game against Atlanta, but people started to pick them over them after that game, and, well, Seattle goes in there, but people forget that's a division opponent. Seattle goes in there, and, you know, easy work.
Oh, yeah. It was not close.
Right.
It's all right.
So, yeah, my MVP, yeah, without question, is
It's Cam Newton.
Right.
I mean, what he did for the team, the fact that the offense has 0 weapons.
Exactly.
Besides him.
Exactly. I mean, he's made guys who are, some are even average. I mean, except for, we start hearing the name of Jericho Cotchery.
Oh, Lord.
Jericho Cotchery ain't even been relevant since he was a Jet.
I don't even want to think about Jericho Cotchery. The
Yeah.
fact that he's still in the NFL is...
Scored a touchdown last week against Tampa Bay. I think that gives him like, 3 on the year. I mean, you told me I come out of nowhere and got 3 touchdowns in an NFL season. I'll take it.
the age of 80. I know Jericho Cotchery isn't that old. Rookie of the year.
Todd Gurley.
It's got to be Todd Gurley.
Right.
Finished 3rd in rushing
Right.
with way less attempts than the people ahead of him.
Not to mention he had some breakout performances. That streak that he went on with over 100 yards for 3-4 weeks straight, coming off the vicious knee injury that he had, yeah, like I said before, he deserves it. People criticizing him for picking a guy with a jacked up knee already, top 10. He's proved he's worth that pick.
Most definitely. Defensive player of the year. I got J.J. Watt.
You got J.J. Watt?
I had to. Just because they made the playoffs. It's like, it's almost solely because of him. 17.5 sacks.
I'm actually
3 forced fumbles.
I'm conflicted. I got 2 guys that's on the same team that's in the way, but I guess if I got to say defensive player of the I gotta go with Charles Woodson on his way out, man.
I can't even bash that.
Like, it was between him and Josh Norman to me, because I like what Josh Norman has done this year prior to the Odell Beckham situation. But it's like trying to compare their careers. It's like, dude, it was no question. It's like, to me, it's on his way out. Like I said, it's Charles Woodson. I love what this guy's done just over his career. What he's been for that young defense over there, and just showing those guys how to be a pro. Not to mention, He picked off Peyton Manning twice, which was the only quarterback he hadn't picked off.
Shout out to Marcus Peters out of Kansas City.
Right.
8 interceptions.
Right.
Two for a touchdown.
Nice.
So, tied for the league in interceptions with Reggie Nelson from Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Thought he deserved a shout out.
Reggie Nelson, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he was that dude in Florida, man. And for a minute, he was actually that dude down there in Jacksonville. I'm not sure what happened with that situation, but hey.
You know how it is.
Right.
Comeback player of the year. I'm not sure if Carson Palmer counts. That's who I gave it to.
Well, technically it is because, I mean, he tore his
That's
knee
what I'm
out.
saying.
Like, yeah. But I guess comeback player of the year for me, oh, man. We stop and think about it. I mean, from a comeback standpoint, yeah, I think he's probably about the only guy. Because he had just
I
signed.
don't count Adrian Peterson.
Right. You can't.
If you
because
count Adrian Peterson, then it's probably Adrian Peterson. I'd still give it to Carson Palmer.
I give it to him mainly because his what happened to him was on field. After he just signed like a 3-year extension, that was for some dough. And everybody was starting to look at Arizona like, oh, man, y'all. You talk about, like, how did y'all not know that this guy was going to get injured again? Now y'all done paid him this money, this guaranteed money. And, well, oh, well.
Coach of the year. I got Ron Rivera.
You do?
Yeah. 15-1.
Right. I can't.
And they're pretty much the most surprising team in the NFL, so no offensive.
I'm actually going with Andy Reid. With
that. I like Andy.
Right. And I mean, like I said, for the way that team started, after losing a key player, like, you talk about a key player, like, he was the offense. Like, they generated offense through Jamal Charles. And after losing him, after the way they started, to take that team on a win streak and get this team into the playoffs, give it to Andy. With the lack thereof, like, offensive weapons. Like I said, but then, hey, you got defense that was holding it down for as long as they could. All they need to do is put up some kind of points.
And Andy Reid, you can put it down sometime.
Exactly.
He ain't never just going to get shut out.
Real quick, though. I've heard stories about Detroit potentially releasing Calvin Johnson from that contract, mainly because they don't feel like he's lived up to that contract that he's gotten.
Matthew Stafford has lived up to the contract.
If you Calvin Johnson and it's teams out there looking for a number one, I ain't gonna lie, I go to Kansas City. No? I just want to throw that out there real quick. Probably save that for something later on. Huh?
Not with Alex Smith.
You think he's still too gun-shy to be able to throw the ball down the field?
We throw it down the field every once in a while, but I go somewhere where I know they throw it down the field.
So you say...
if I'm Calvin Johnson, I'll say, hey, Tom, what's up?
I can see that.
Tom Brady, what's happening?
I can see that.
You might have to take a pay cut because, the Patriots don't ever giving wide receivers money because they know Tom Brady will make it happen.
Would you go to Carolina?
Yes. You and Kelvin Benjamin?
Yeah, him and Kelvin. Yeah.
Kelvin Benjamin is going to be comeback player of the year next year,
right.
Most likely.
I could see that. If they was able to pick Calvin Johnson, I think they'd be instant favorites. If he's able to do this without the receiver weapons, what will he do with them?
That's a good question. Coming up, moving on from the NFL, kind of, we're going to get into the Al Jazeera PED's allegations against certain players right here on the Sports Team.
I am Dwayne Dean, and this is your Sports Machine News Update. Washington Nationals first baseman Ryan Zimmerman and Philadelphia Phillies Ryan Howard have filed lawsuits against Al Jazeera, which reported in the documentary that the two, along with several other professional athletes, allegedly received shipments of performance-enhancing drugs. Zimmerman and Howard claimed that the Al Jazeera American reporter on sports doping contained false statements and was inaccurate, unsustained, and reckless in nature. The amount of the general and punitive damages sought by both Zimmerman and Howard will be determined at trial. Texas A&M athletic director Eric Hyman is stepping down from his post, the school announced Tuesday. Hyman, who arrived at Texas A&M in 2012 from South Carolina, where he held the same position oversaw the Aggies athletics programs transition to the SEC for the past 3 years. He will remain in his role until a new athletic director is hired. San Diego State said that it has been notified by the NCAA that the allegations made against the men's basketball program were, quote, not sustained. I am pleased that this confirms what I and our administration have known all along, that as a staff, we take great pride in representing San Diego State University in the men's basketball program and conducting this program with the highest integrity, at close quote, Aztecs coach Steve Fisher reported. That was your Sports Machine News Update. I am Dwaylen Dean, Sports Machine.
Sports Machine with Brian Dean went over the end of the NFL season, which included most disappointing teams, surprising team, coach situations, and our end of the season NFL awards. As you just heard Dean mention in his news, these Al Jazeera allegations have created quite a stir in the NFL.
Right.
I'm not too sure about lawsuits. I'm not a lawyer.
Right.
Don't claim to be. But there's been a lot of negative things about this report.
Right. People's blasted this report all over the. I mean, they've shot it down so bad, and mainly because of the head guy he's announced that he accused of receiving PEDs, which was Peyton Manning. I got a little bit of feelings towards that. I mean, once this report was brought out and Peyton Manning released a statement giving his thoughts on the allegations, I've heard a lot of shows that I felt like was kind of like they was actually trying to condone it a bit. I heard people were saying, well, if he did, quote unquote, use them, he used them to get back healthy from the neck injury that he had, where he had to get surgery and things like that.
Which is nothing new, because I've heard for a long time that most players don't use PEDs to actually enhance their performance, but more to
heal from injuries.
To keep from getting injured or to heal from injuries.
Right.
I mean,
we've heard that from Alex Rodriguez.
I mean, you can say the same thing about Barry Bonds when he went through his knee problems.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he only used PEDs to come back from knee problems. Like,
right.
What's the difference?
But the difference was that Barry Bonds was like a villain to the media, wasn't the nicest of guys, where it is you have Peyton Manning, who's well liked by, I mean, just about everybody. I mean, he's lived, you know, I mean, I guess he's been a poster boy, been the face of being a proper athlete, I guess you could say. Also done himself a lot of favors by going on Saturday Night Live with him and his brother and doing their thing on Saturday Night Live. But my only knock on that was the fact that, okay, if we're going to give Peyton Manning that same kind of pass, you have to look at all the other athletes that was named on that list, like Zimmerman, like Ryan Zimmerman, Ryan Howard, Clay Matthews was one of the guys named on that list, and give them that same kind of pass.
I want to hit something. This is kind of not related.
Yeah.
But I was reading on ESPN, Mayweather recently had an interview.
Right.
And he believes racism is still alive in boxing. And, you know, they asked him why he believed this, and he went into his reason. He said, you know, look at certain people, and he talked about McGregor.
Right.
He said, I've never seen a fight. He's probably really good, but he goes out and talks a lot of trash, and people praise him for it.
Right. Call him the greatest of all times. Yeah.
And he's like, when I did it, I was cocky,
arrogant.
egotistical.
Right. Non-deserving of his accolades or the things that he's gotten.
So when we started making these comparisons of these people that use PEDs and the media blasting them,
right,
and everyone I listed was black,
yeah,
and then Peyton Manning over here getting a pass and he white, it's like,
really though? That's drop that line. We say, oh, so it's okay
for Peyton Manning to do it, huh?
Right.
Okay.
And see, that was my knock, because like actually,
and I don't even think it's really a race thing, but maybe
right,
it's the way they conduct themselves around the media, but I mean,
they
I'm
make
just pointing out some differences that need to maybe different point of view.
right, and that doesn't make you a negative person or a bad person. But
And I don't
like
want to hear no Lance Armstrong because people was defending Lance Armstrong for a long time.
they defended him, and like the difference, Lance Armstrong ruined guys' career. That's my only thing about when in my news report when I heard that those guys were lawsuiting Al Jazeera. Like I was like, okay, let's not start. If you know you was taking them, let's not ruin people. Let's not ruin someone's life like that. Because Lance Armstrong got away with suing a lot of people and getting paid a couple of million off of suing and winning those cases. And then come to find out X amount of years later, he was actually using it. Back to the topic for the most part. My only knock on it was the fact that, okay, everybody was trying to give him a pass at it and say that, well, if he did, that was the reason why he done it. But let's not forget, I think they was accusing him of using HGH, human growth hormone. Let's not forget, Peyton Manning had a stellar season that year that he came back from that neck injury.
Yes, he did.
He had a stellar season. And his performance has declined since. I'm not saying that he took him. All I'm saying is just pointing a few things out. Went from having a stellar season coming back from it. Last season wasn't the best, but wasn't the worst. And then you look at this season, right? So when I look at it that way, I also look at what someone once said, tweeted out to Mike and Mike one morning. And he said, athletes are coming out saying that they didn't use steroids. Oh, tell me what athletes haven't said that they didn't use steroids. I'll wait.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
sorry for Ron Braun, though.
So I say that, that I like that tweet due to the fact that it's true. Like a lot of guys will come out and say, "Hey, I didn't use it. Oh, I'm sorry for disappointing my team, my family, and all this type of stuff. There next time,
Al Jazeera sticking by her report, by the way.
And she should. The fact that she's sticking by it, to me, it's like, okay,
Maybe they did, maybe they didn't.
right.
I mean, because you mentioned something about Peyton Manning's wife. I thought it was kind of a funny point.
Right, because last time we heard about a guy talking about using his wife, having his wife I won't say take the blame, but if you look at it the way you want to look at it, that was Roger Clemens. Roger Clemens came out and they was talking about his wife with steroids and human growth hormone and things like that. Well, in the Al Jazeera saying that Peyton Manning, the prescription was actually in Peyton Manning's wife's name that got shipped to the house. So Peyton Manning, in one of his responses, said that if his wife did order or had something like that come to the house, he didn't know nothing about it. And as far as the medical term goes, like whatever his wife's business is, her business. Well, I don't think that's accurate because being a high-profile athlete that he is, wouldn't you want to know? If my wife is getting something like that could potentially be tied to me, because my wife is an extension of me, I'm an extension of her. When you get married, you're not singular. You're not plural. Like you're not separate, but you guys are together. So you should want to know something like that. And she should have informed you of something like that. Hey, baby, look, this is what's coming to the house. I got a doctor prescribed for this. You can take this to the team and let them know. We can discuss it. And then let the league know. Because, be honest with you, they could have, Peyton Manning, the Broncos, and the NFL could have shot this down right to the back by saying they allowed us, they told us about this a long time ago. We've even put him through the test. He even subjected himself to like blood tests and stuff like that for this reason. So he's clean. He's good. Let's move on. This would be a no story. It would be a no story because a lot of guys who they was announcing offended again was like kind of, like I said, a few baseball players, Clay Matthews, things like that. But other than that, the highest profile athlete on here was Peyton Manning. That's been the whole discussion about it.
It's all pretty much revolved around Peyton Manning.
Right.
Peyton Manning, of course, shot it down.
Right. And what high profile athlete hasn't shot it
And
down?
it's really because the NFL's testing isn't necessarily all there. Let's be honest, we ain't never gonna know.
Right. Exactly.
We're never gonna know.
Right.
The NFL's not like baseball. You might find out about Ron Howard, Ron Zimmerman in the
Eventually,
future.
because they played long times after. But
Yeah.
I think we both agree he'll be done with after the end of the season.
Ron Howard might be done. So
Yeah. It's no different from when they said what was that season that real quick before we change gears. You remember before in that Baltimore San Francisco Super Bowl game, the whole shutout of the lights deal. Everybody accused Ray Lewis of using deer antler velvet to come back from what they call it, a torn tricep. So everybody's been accused of something, but Ray Lewis they had won the Super Bowl. He left out on top, so no one else ever questioned him no more because he wasn't playing no more.
it was in my wife's name thing. Let's be real. Like it'd be the first time he went and took some prescriptions. It wasn't in the name.
Right.
It was in her name. I
Right.
couldn't open the bottle. There was a child lock on it. I couldn't open it.
Right. If it's off in your medicine cabinet, you're a pro football player, you get headaches and things like that, you tend to want to, yeah, baby, this says human growth hormone. You think you'd let me know about something like this? I mean, what are you trying to grow here? Let me know something.
Let's talk about NFL players and headaches.
Ah, man.
Watch that movie Concussion.
Oh, yeah.
Will
Man,
Smith did his thing.
he done his thing, and it left me a bit conflicted for a second there because to know that the league kind of knew about it and just
That's why they did the lawsuit and they settled out with.
right. And like, well, the thing that kind of I guess bothered me the most about it, right, was the fact that this guy went to the league. He went to like one of their top doctors and said, "I'm not trying to shut you down. We should be working together to improve it." Then, who was that? Was it Tannenbaum? The last
Commissioner,
last commissioner. Hearing about it, he knew what was about to go down. They really set Roger up. Coming in, like they set Roger up, but then Roger trying to be the new gunslinger didn't help his case out because when they tried to bring him in, they didn't want him to talk, but they wanted one of their own doctors to talk. They didn't even pay it no mind.
Of course not.
Right. So
They made money.
exactly.
So it's about
Still could have made money. All they had to do was try to help each other.
moving on into college football. Bowl season. Going to a little bit of a bowl recap. I'll go all the way back to like December 31st. When the college football semifinal was going on. They had the Rose Bowl and the Peach Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Let's get the big bowls.
Exactly. They call it the New Year's Six.
So we go into Capital One Orange Bowl, college football playoff semifinal, Oklahoma, Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson just went over there and did their thing to Oklahoma, 37-17.
You know what was funny about that game? It's like I told you earlier. That game left me a bit frustrated. I'm like, I'm not even down for Oklahoma like that, but I'm a fan of the Big 12. I'm not. I'm a big fan of SMU. SMU football program has been crap for quite some time. What it was about that game, but it left me just frustrated because I just couldn't understand. Like, you got Samarge and Pete Ryan, and for a minute they wouldn't even run the ball with him, especially like that first drive. The only thing they did was they tried to use Baker Mayfield a lot, and it was like I'm like, all through this drive, this guy's averaging 5 yards on first down carries. You get down to inside the goal line and inside the 5, and you start passing. If this guy on first down is getting you 5 yards, hand it off to him. Hand it off to him for 3 straight times. And if you trust your defense, which actually paid pretty good, you go for it on fourth down and make them work. Okay, y'all finna have to, if y'all gonna stop us goal line standing, right? Y'all gonna get the momentum. Understand that if you don't get yourself out this corner, if you don't get yourself within a certain amount of range and y'all have to punt, know that you punt from in your end zone. Now you still put the pressure on a team like that, but once again, hey, shout out to Clemson. Shout out to your boy from Clemson, quarterback done this thing.
Watson.
Deshaun Watson, man.
I mean, Clemson went there, supplanted what they supposed to do. I thought they was gonna blow them out, and they did.
Right, you did. You actually picked them, and
I think they're gonna win the championship. So.
I kind of felt like I was actually rolling with Oklahoma. I believe in our picks, and then I remember I remember on the show. I had asked you. I was like, man, I kind of want to know if I could change my pick, because after I found out Deshaun Watson finished third in the Heisman voting. And I'm talking like it wasn't close. Like he was in the 900s, and the other two guys, they finished like in the thousands. Like it was more closer between those two.
Henry and McCaffrey.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, this guy's the whole team. Like this guy's the whole team. And the fact that y'all I figured that was going to light a fire underneath them. And Dabo Swinney being a good coach probably helped like that too. It's like they said,
blow a little air on this fire.
Exactly. Like they said you was third best. Like really? And so he went out there like in the first half he already had almost 100 yards rushing. In the first half. The moment you lose containment of the quarterback, he's just a free runner. You're doomed.
Alabama did similar things to Michigan State, 38-0.
Man.
Very disappointing New Year's Eve for good football.
Right. And you know what was funny about that? I remember as I was watching that game, I said to myself, I bet I would have done better than this.
Iowa's defense probably would have done way better.
Yeah. And then Iowa gets to playing, and I know you was getting ready to go off into it, and I'm looking like, well, good golly, maybe it was like, God, I think Michigan ready to start spouting like, see,
we did to Florida.
We did shut out exactly
47 to Florida.
Exactly,
Put on them boys.
Exactly. So I was like, Alabama was just like it. Kind of made you wonder. It wouldn't matter who Alabama played. They won't give them the business.
Houston, the Peach Bowl. I had to mention Houston because they went in there and took care of Florida State. Maybe it's like,
right,
they finished undefeated.
Maybe
they deserve to be up in there.
Right.
Especially the way them teams got dominated.
Right. One of the things I also want to bring up that Oklahoma State got handled by Ole Miss. I mean, they look like they shouldn't even been on the same field with Ole Miss.
Ole Miss took care of Oklahoma State 48-20.
And their young quarterback Kelly just killed them. I ain't even know that was Jim Kelly, former Hall of Fame quarterback, former Bills quarterback. I ain't know that was his nephew.
I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
It doesn't, but I mean, at the same time, I didn't know it was his nephew, but at the same time, it was like, wow, like, so you come from, you have an uncle that's played on the next level that could actually give you the advice from watching your game tape. Hey, maybe you should try to work a little bit more on this right here. This is what they're going to be expecting on the next level. Things like that. I think that's good. That's good to have somebody who's been on the inside like that. One of the things I took away, I guess, from that bowl season, both of the Oklahoma teams and the Big 12 just got handled bad. Then you look at Baylor. They just, with a third-string quarterback, handled up on their opponent in, I forgot, what bowl was that?
It was the Athletic Bowl, Russell Athletic Bowl.
Yeah.
In which they took on North Carolina.
I wasn't expecting them to handle North Carolina like that, but they gave them the business. And let's not forget, shout out to TCU over here in Fort Worth, man. for the largest comeback victory in bowl season history. Because I was on my way to go watch the Concussions movie while that game was on, actually. And before halftime, it was 28-0.
Oh, just 31-0 at halftime.
Right. So, and by the time we got out the movie, something told me, I checked my phone, and it said TCU wins in triple overtime. What? TCU came back and gave it to him?
I was surprised as well.
Without Trayvon Boykin, who I just, man, I hate what he's going through right now, but, you know, I said it once, I said it 1,000 times about these young guys and just wanting to be out in somebody's club.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fine to be at home, man.
Sometimes, most of the time.
Yeah, especially in your situation, in these guys' situation where you're a high profile college athlete, so you stand out, and then you're also potentially a high potential rookie in the draft. You saw what happened with Leo Collins last year. He was a first round top 10 talent. He didn't even get drafted just because of he was being questioned. He wasn't indicted on anything, right? He was being questioned about a murder investigation. And he didn't even get drafted. So it's like, Trayvon Boykin, you got an assault on the police. 3rd degree assault on the police. Praying for you, bruh.
Really though, Trayvon.
Straight like
You
that.
could have been on the list. I wasn't gonna give it to you. Somebody gotta get really though. Things in sports to make you say really though. Who you wanna go first?
I'll do the honors because I know this is a new year, so clean slate.
Ain't no big six right here.
So my really though goes out to Cowboys Nation.
Already.
Yes. It's not the first time I had to really though Cowboys Nation. And if you listened before, I really though them because of the whole egging a guy on to shoot a guy back when the Cowboys played the Patriots.
That was pretty bad though.
Right. Well, it's not as bad, but it's almost there. Washington Redskins returner got hurt in the game, got carted off the field. Cowboys Nation at the game decided to cheer. I'm nowhere near a fan. Like, understand this about me. You remember at the game, I kind of got at a guy, had an exchange of words with a guy about, being a moron, just being a moron.
I don't understand.
So,
What you talking about?
so I have to let Cowboys Nation know that was just stupid. For everybody who decided that, I don't care how much we hate a team, I don't care how much of a division rival it is, let's be understanding to the fact that these guys are putting their bodies on the line to entertain us. I don't care how many millions of dollars these guys get paid. At the end of the day, they have somebody out there that love them. Somebody who cares deeply for them. So to sit back and do something that class, let's save that type of act for the Philadelphia fans and other fans that's out there that's done it.
Called for, dude.
Yeah, it is called for because the whole reason why.
The Philadelphia.
True story why I can't stand Philly, and I'm gonna make this real quick, B. One of my most favorite athletes for the Cowboys, Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin got hurt in that old dirty stadium that they used to call the Vet.
Yeah, it's called dirty.
That's what ended his career, and they was cheering him the same way that the Cowboys was cheering this dude when that ended Michael Irvin's career. And so ever since then, I've never really just hated the Eagles, but after that game, as a kid, I everything that's Philly, I can't stand it. I don't care who it is, where it is, where you from. If you live around Philly, been around Philly, you like Philly, you on my list of people I can't stand. I can't stand them about as much as you can't stand Atlanta.
I have a problem with Atlanta.
You do?
People from Atlanta. I have a problem going through Atlanta. I have bad luck. Everything negative happens when I go through Atlanta. I don't have a problem with Atlanta people. Atlanta people could come to Texas. I'm cool with them. Now me driving through Atlanta, no stops. Car breakdown, snowing, traffic. It's never positive for me.
So Cowboys Nation. Really though?
I made mine like 30 seconds long. How much time I got?
I'm sorry, man.
It's good. It's good. Yours is way more interesting. Mine's on the Rams. Because everyone knows they're trying to move to LA, which is cool.
Right.
And so you start bashing the city you're in. Like, what if your plan doesn't go through? Really though, Rams? Like, what if you have to go back to St. Louis? Bash St. Louis. This is, quote, this is what they said. The Rams' assessment of their experience in St. Louis after 21 seasons of remarkable support by fans, business, and the community is inaccurate and extremely disappointing.
Wow.
That's a quote. That's a quote.
God.
Really though, what if you have to go back?
Not to mention, they called him a two-sport town. And basically, they called him a two-sport town and they're broke. Because they said, like, they're economically challenged or something like that. Yeah, that's a really...
Like, what if you have to go, like, I feel bad for the players and stuff. They gotta go back. I wouldn't go watch them. If it was in my city.
So basically saying not only you're a two-sport town, but your city is broke. The stadium that they try to give you is laughable. You know they broke, so you still gonna kill them. Okay.
I hope they do gotta come back, and I'm gonna give them a project that's worse than the last one we gave them. Like, that was the plan. Get the plan back. We're gonna make another one. We're gonna have you looking like you playing in Pelican Bay.
Oh man. Shoe program. 23-hour lockdown. I wish we had that drop. That would have been a cold play.
There's too much cussing to go in there. I would have to cut it out too much. Because I thought about it. Great show today. Coming up later in the week. At the end of the week, we're going to pick the championship game. We'll have to get on that. Much more in the NFL playoffs. Power rankings. NBA. We didn't even jump into the NBA yet. Stephen Curry going through injury problems. Whether he should even be playing right now or not. It's a
breaking
question.
records.
That's the only reason he needs to play right now.
Mm-hmm.
All that coming up tomorrow and this week right here on the Sports Machine.
Peace out.